Sometimes I look at Hakimi and think, how did Real Madrid have so many opportunities to keep this player? And for some reason, we just decided to let him go. I think he left on a free. I don't think we got money for Hakimi, Real Madrid. I know there's a, PSG Barcelona game, but I always look at Hakimi, even when he was at Dortmund, Inter Milan, because he's been in the conversation for one of the best right backs in the world for a very long time. Even when he was at Inter Milan, he was in that conversation because he was so good, especially in that wing back position where he had to run forward and be part of the attack. He was always very good. So I always think about that, and it's always a weird one for me why Madrid never kept him. But good win for PSG, especially seeing as they're not playing with their best players. Their best players are not available. Varaskelia, Doué, Dembele, Marquinhos. Even Donnarumma, who was not. I mean, Chevalier did well, but Donnarumma is Donnarumma. I think John Evans as well didn't play. So you look at that team and you kind of think maybe they're going to have a difficult time against Barcelona. And I think the first half, Barcelona were in control. Pedri played well. Rashford, Lamine Yamal played very well, and they had control in the first half, but they couldn't kill off the game. I think Barcelona had a couple of chances to kill off the game in the first half, and that wasn't the case. In the second half, I don't know what the team talk was from Enrique, but it worked. It worked out well because they came into the second half, PSG, and they took control of the game, took the game by the scruff of the neck. We saw Mendes playing very well, Hakimi playing well, Vitinha started playing well. Like the team just started to gel in the second half, and they did play very, very, very well. I know Barcelona as well had a little bit of injuries. Rafinha not available, Joan Garcia not available. But I think the two goals that were scored, Skezney wouldn't, I don't think Joan Garcia would have really done anything about that. They were just two really good goals. So I'm not really gonna blame the injuries from Barcelona. I know maybe Rafinha would have done a little bit better than Rashford, but Rashford played well. He wasn't that bad. It was okay. He got the assist, played very well. He was just defended very well. And I think Rashford and Rafinha, although two different players in terms of the approach play to the final third, I do think, even if Rafinha was playing, I don't think he would have done any better than Rashford did today. Ilyas Sabarni I mean, I wasn't familiar with his game. I didn't know he was that good. I think in that Bournemouth defense, the player that had a lot more hype was Houghton. His endeavors in the Spain national team, you look at that and think, wow, a player so young, so confident. You look at that and you're like, this player has a lot of levels to go. But I look at Ilyas Sabarni in the PSG team and I'm like, y'all didn't tell me about this. Y'all didn't tell me he was a good player, a good defender. He played very well. The basically goal line clearance he made to prevent it from going. I think it was 1-0 then. I think it was either 1-0. That was going to be the first goal. But it was a goal line clearance and he made it very, very good awareness, very good defending, his passing, very good confidence on the ball. As a player, I wasn't expecting to be. I mean, the fact that he's gone to PSG is definitely a good player. Enrique has an eye for talent, but so do Bournemouth. I mean, we look at teams like Bournemouth, Brentford, not PSG, Bournemouth, Brentford, Brighton. These players, their scouting is very, very good. I mean, the number of players that have gone from these teams to other teams and done very well in terms of either raising up their levels. We look at players like Caicedo, Houghton, other Brighton players, a lot of Brighton players. And I think Bournemouth as well, they've had a history of selling players that have gone on to do very, very well. So you look at that and think, how good at your scouting is this something that people can learn. But back to the Barca PSG game, I think if you're a Barcelona fan, you're kind of looking at this thinking, we're up against a very crippled PSG team in terms of quality of players. They didn't have their best players on the field. They were not, necessarily performing our best. You're kind of looking at it and thinking, going forward, if you come up against, better oppositions that will give you not better opposition. I don't think there's any really team better than PSG at the moment in terms of, how they're playing and how they're moving. But if you come up against a team that could give you some trouble, we saw that against Vallecano in the league or Barcelona, a team that can actually give you some trouble, you kind of look at that and think, is there an issue there? So I think it's an issue that Barcelona maybe Flick has to solve. I don't really think the injuries did a lot of damage to Barcelona. I think they've lost too many players to be playing that badly. and it was also a home game. So you kind of look at that and think, yeah, he should be doing better. Bradley Barcola is a player I think he fell off a cliff because his introduction to PSG's team was kind of like Desiree Doué. He came out, lit the scene on fire, was scoring goals, getting assists, dribbling, playing well. I think that was when Mbappe was still there. And you were kind of looking at it thinking, okay, he's playing so well. If Mbappe goes, he's probably going to be the man on the left-hand side because I think he was coming off the bench for Mbappe, or he was coming off the bench when Mbappe was moved to the strike to play on the left wing side. And you're thinking when Mbappe goes, he's going to be the player that's going to start shining, and he fell off a cliff. His performances just fell off a really, really large cliff because he's still a good player, but I think in the final third, he has a lot to work on because his finishing is horrible. He had like 2-3 chances to get an opportunity to get a shot on target, and he really, really didn't take them. And you look at that and think, maybe he still has a lot of work on. I think he's like, his early 20s. He's still got a lot of time. Enrique will probably get the best out of him. He's very good at doing that. And is it Mbaye, the left winger, who was actually playing? Was he playing left wing? I think he was playing left wing, and Barcola was playing right or striker. But Mbaye, the 17-year-old winger, also looks good. I mean, a lot of good talents coming through from PSG at the moment. The striker, the guy that scored the equalizer as well, looks good. You're looking at that. A lot of Chevalier as well. He's also a young player. He didn't come from PSG, but also a young French player. You look at the French team and you're thinking, a lot of good quality talent going through that team and coming through. And Mbaye, I think, another 17-year-old coming into the scene, bursting onto the scene, looking very good, good control, and a lot of exciting futures going on in that PSG side, in that French side. Nuno Mendes, can't really praise him enough. That run he made, honestly, I think that tackle from De Jong was a red card. To be honest, on his Achilles, the tackle on his Achilles was a little bit dangerous. Could have been an ACL. I think that should have been a red card, but maybe it is my Real Madrid bias coming in. But that run he made, Nuno Mendes, from left back all the way. I mean, if De Jong didn't tackle him, he probably would have created a very good chance, if not created an assist with that run. It was very good. He is electric on the ball. Him and Hakimi. I mean, for PSG to have both of those players in their possession, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I don't see them leaving PSG anytime soon, unless maybe they want to leave due to maybe out of contract, but I doubt that's gonna happen. I see them playing in PSG for a very long time, and if they can get a dangerous striker, I know Ousmane Dembele is a good striker they have in the team, but if they can get someone like a Haaland in that side that can really capitalize on chances being created in the 18-yard box, I think they're going to be very, very dangerous, very, very dangerous. But yeah, you look at that and you're kind of thinking you're going to be a tough team to come up against in the Champions League when they have your full set of players, and it's going to be it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. It was a good game. I think players like Vitinha, Pedri, Lamine Yamal, even Frankie De Jong to a certain extent, Nuno Mendes, Hakimi. It was a very good game. I think we would have loved to see Barcelona at their best and PSG at their best. I think that's a match that would have really, really been interesting. There would have probably been a lot more goals in the game. And I think, it's something that we would have loved to see. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Hopefully, they meet in the knockout stages and, they're at their full strength, and we can see an interesting match. Because I do think PSG versus Barcelona at their full capacity, full sharpness, everyone fit and ready, is an interesting match. I want to talk about Vitinha. He's a player I've been monitoring for a while. I think last season he was brilliant in the Champions League, in the Nations League. He was very, very, very good. I think that's a player you can definitely look at Real Madrid to be Toni Kroos' successor. He can come in deep, take the ball off the defense. His work rate is good. His distribution is good. He's a good midfielder, deep line playmaker that I think can fit in that role in Real Madrid. I know this is a Barcelona PSG match reaction, but I just want to talk about Vitinha and a player I think we could use at Real Madrid because we need someone that can dictate play in that midfield. And I think Vitinha would be absolutely, absolutely brilliant. But he's also another player I look at in PSG, and I think he's not going to be leaving PSG anytime soon. Especially to go to Real Madrid. Everyone's dream is to play for Real Madrid, but from what we did with Mbappe at PSG, it'd be very difficult to go back there and get another key player from them. So yeah, look, I mean PSG at the moment, I think in terms of squad quality, bar maybe their front line, I think they've got the best balanced team. Chevalier is very good. I think the defensive pairing of Marquinhos and Zabani is very solid. I mean, the two fullbacks, no need to talk about them too much. That midfield three of Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, and Joao Neves is so balanced. It's actually scary. And that front three of Dembele, Varaskelia, and Desire Doué, I mean, I look at that, and probably the only team that comes close in mind in terms of quality of players will probably be Real Madrid. In terms of, we have Mbappe up front, Vinicius Jr. up front. But I think apart from that, that's all. Maybe goalkeepers, maybe Courtois. I know, I'm not maybe Courtois over Chevalier, definitely. But I think apart from that, actually, there is no one else I would pick in my Real Madrid team over a fully fit PSG team, because I think that midfield three of Vitinha, Neves, and Fabian Ruiz is actually better than anything we have at the moment at Real Madrid. I don't think I'll pick Vitinha over Bellingham at the moment. I don't think I'll pick Joao Neves over Chouamini. I think I'll pick, Fabian Ruiz over, okay, maybe not Fabian. That's a conversation for a different time. But yeah, I think PSG at the moment, once they get Dembele, Doué, Varaskelia back, they're definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with going into, further into the competition. And I'm definitely looking forward to see how they're going to do this season. Definitely they're going to be hot contenders for the Champions League again. And I mean, winning it 2 times in a row. I mean, that's gonna be something. Mbappe leaves and you win the Champions League 2 times in a row. That's gonna be very, very hairy. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. As usual, any feedback from you guys will be greatly appreciated.